Why the U.S. bombed Serbia in 1999. The story of NATO's Kosovo campaign. In 1999, the United States and its NATO allies launched a bombing campaign against Serbia, then part of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. But why did this happen? What was at stake, and how did it change global military strategy? Let's take a calm historical journey into one of the most controversial interventions of the late 20th century, the NATO bombing of Yugoslavia. Background. What was happening in Kosovo? In the late 1990s, Kosovo, a province within Serbia, was in crisis. Tensions between the Serb-led government and Kosovo's ethnic Albanian majority escalated. Allegations of human rights abuses, forced displacement, and a crackdown on separatist movements captured global attention. The Kosovo Liberation Army, KLA, seeking independence, clashed with Serbian forces, and violence spread. By 1999, the world was watching. Western leaders warned of a humanitarian disaster. Why NATO got involved? 5 trees. The U.S., along with NATO allies, argued that diplomacy had failed. After the collapse of peace talks in Rambouillet, France, NATO took military action, without UN Security Council approval, to prevent what they called a humanitarian catastrophe. The intervention was led primarily by the United States and the United Kingdom. The goal, to force the Serbian government, under President Slobodan Milosevic, to stop military operations in Kosovo. Operation Allied Force, the bombing begins, 5 to 7 Sjaus. From March 24 to June 10, 1999, NATO aircraft carried out airstrikes on military and infrastructure targets in Serbia and Kosovo. Bridges, supply lines, and command centers were hit. The campaign lasted 78 days, and Serbia eventually withdrew its forces from Kosovo. Kosovo was placed under UN administration, and NATO peacekeepers were deployed. Aftermath and impact. 7 to 9 weeks. The NATO bombing was considered a success by Western governments, but it also sparked criticism from other world powers, especially Russia and China, who argued it set a dangerous precedent for military intervention without UN approval. The war reshaped NATO's role and raised deep questions about national sovereignty, humanitarian intervention, and international law. Kosovo later declared independence in 2008, but Serbia, and some countries, still do not recognize it. A lesson in global diplomacy. 9 to 10 Wong. This event reminds us that military force is always a last resort, and even when done with humanitarian intent, it carries long-term consequences. The Kosovo conflict remains a key case study in modern international relations and NATO history. As global citizens, learning from these moments helps us understand both the power and the limits of international alliances.